Well, she's thrown down the gauntlet. I don't know if we're already over time and we should pay attention to that, but does anyone want to jump in?
10 words. There are three things. Number one, you're spot on. Don't give up. If that sort of voice doesn't keep on shouting, and if there aren't more voices like that, then we're all in trouble. Two, there are three things that we probably have to get right. The first one is we've got to find a way, I owe this phrase to José María Figueres, we have to find a way to sever carbon from growth. Not to stop using carbon in its entirety, but to stop equating growth with hydrocarbons. Right? Second thing we have to get right is we've got to separate consumption from human satisfaction. We've got to stop defining human happiness by having more ties, having more suits, having more dresses, having more shoes, having more air miles, having more houses. Three, we've got to try and get back to the balance that has actually allowed societies to survive and thrive for long periods. Balancing individual rights with community responsibilities and respect for the ecosystem on which we all depend for our survival. If we could get those three things right, then the world that you want, and I think many of us want, would be attainable.
The simplest fix for Copenhagen is to allow only women under 30 to be represented. I say that not cynically, I really mean it. I've often said if we could bar men from holding public office for 50 years, a lot of the world's problems could be cured. So that's an easy fix. It's not going to happen, but it's a good one. But it's also true, we all have been young, you will be old. I hope. I mean, I hope you get there. I hope we have a world in which you're able to grow old. So I don't think, throwing barbs across generational walls is very helpful. I think you'll find that everybody sitting here and everybody in every room that I've been in has devoted their lives at considerable cost to trying to explore and find ways to do this. We are all involved in the hypocrisies of ourselves having large carbon footprints to do it. But frankly, your carbon footprint is a lot larger than the carbon footprint of a young person in Uganda, and it will grow year by year if you're going to make a difference. Unfortunately, that's one of the paradoxes we have to deal with. You're completely right. We need to model in our own lives, by not drinking bottled water at conferences like this, the sort of things we're doing. But it's also true that individual responses to systemic problems will not fix the systemic problems. We need also systemic, state-based and international answers, systemic answers, and I think that's what a lot of this conference is about, trying to figure out, that's what Copenhagen is about, trying to figure out the systemic. It's not either or. What you're doing as a young woman is vital, and your voice is vital, but the attempts to find systemic answers to the systemic problems and have systems like states and NGOs respond are equally important. I would like to just finish by putting it the way you did, because I think it's exactly right. Most of the forms of interdependence that are around today are malicious and malevolent. AIDS, HIV is a form of interdependence. The health plagues are a form of interdependence. Terrorism is a form of interdependence. Predatory global markets is a form of interdependence. Most of the forms of interdependence are destructive. What is missing is constructive forms of interdependence to respond adequately to all these destructive, and that in a sense is our challenge now, how to do that, and David was doing it a long time ago. We've all in our own way. Bill McKibben in his 350.org is trying to do that. There are a lot of folks trying to do that. I think together we need to explore other and new forms of constructive interdependence. Globalizing democracy, democratizing globalization, citoyen sans frontières, what does that mean? How do you make it real? Those exactly are the challenges that are before us. So thanks for your terrific question.
Thank you. I'm going to have to wrap it up now. Thank you again for that intervention. I think that it is true that we need positive things to look towards. In Canada, which is a small pond, I have some visibility because of a television program. When I see people walking down the street who recognize me, they often have one of two reactions. One is they go, oh yeah, I know, I've got to sell my SUV. They feel guilty. Or they're mad. They say, what do you want, Suzuki? Am I going to have to sell my house and go live in a cave? And the problem is that as we become aware of how serious these issues are, they fantasize about we're going to have to sacrifice and suffer to get there. And what we need is to offer the vision of a different way of living that, in fact, I think most people will prefer if we can get through this bottleneck. We've got to start offering that because, in fact, there are all kinds of solutions. And I don't mean just picking up litter and recycling. I mean very big solutions at getting us onto a different path. And people have got to know about those things. Thank you very much for being part of this meeting.